Almost live from Chicago, Illinois, America's third largest entertainment mecca, the home of Bob Newhart and Bob Rohrman. It's the show you never knew you needed for a time you never thought was possible. It's the Pandemic Talk Show, featuring the musical stylings of TJ Shanoff and the Stay-at-Home Orchestra. Today's guest, from Showtime's Work in Progress and your favorite local improv stages, Abby McEnany. And musical guest, Chicago's own Bill Brickey. And now for your host, the answer to the question, who run Bartertown? Justin Kaufman runs Bartertown. Justin Kaufman.
Hey, how about it? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pandemic Talk Show. I am Justin Kaufman in my home, self-isolated, sheltered in place. You can see my puzzles, all my cleaning supplies, there they are, and my Emmy. I don't know if you've seen my Emmy. I get the Pedialyte here too, just in case. We got a great show lined up today. We've got Abby McEnany, as you just heard from Goldie, and of course Bill Brickey, and we're also going to talk to someone who is on the front lines fighting COVID-19 for us, a doctor in Lakeview. Lots to do today. I'm excited to introduce my good pal TJ Shanoff, who, as you can see, is protecting himself and the loved ones around. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, good to see you, Justin. Hey, everybody.
You look good. I got to say, your Zoom background is great. It looks just like a bathtub.
Oh, thank you. It is my bathtub.
Oh, well, there.
A little PSA, when this is all over with, I'll rent this out as studio space for anybody who wants to make a recording. You do THX and 5.1 here in the bathroom.
There you go.
And other things.
It's a strong studio. I feel you're going to do a lot of reggaeton, maybe some hip hop in there, a lot of options.
And I'm not wearing this to protect myself. I'm wearing this because it does not smell particularly good in my bathroom.
There you go. All right, lots to talk about today, and we're going to get to all of it. Before we do that, though, we have to do the traditional monologue, right? I mean, if this is a late-night talk show that's actually happening during the day, it's got to have a monologue. So why don't we get to it? An eerie photo of a lone coyote on Michigan Avenue went viral this week. A stark image from our new social distancing era, and apparently all the cougars have left Rush Street as well.
Oh!
Jared Kushner has been put in charge of the pandemic response. Some call it nepotism, but I'm not worried. I'm from Chicago. We've had nepotism here for decades. And frankly, I don't mind paying $20 to park my car for 5 minutes on the side. Right? That's Chicago way.
That works.
The world has really changed. I used to get up 3 or 4 times a night to pee. Now I do it just to wash my hands, as you can see from my Sexy Knuckles, which is also my house DJ name, Sexy Knuckles.
Get you a limelight.
Actually, I don't have a problem washing my hands. What it is, it's the drying of my hands, right? I mean, what, the towel? Is that towel? Is that infected? What do I do? So I just go back to what I've always done, which is dry my hands on the button of a CTA station elevator. It just seems the most safe and clean experience in the entire city of Chicago. When our stay-at-home rules expire and we're let back into the world, social distancing will still be a thing. That's right. So it's fine for me since my wife has had a 6 feet rule in place since 2012. So I don't know if anything different. And I guess this stalls out my Hands Across America idea, the reboot. He's going to do a whole reboot, and then this virus killed it. I guess we could still do it. It'd just be air elbows across America, which I guess doesn't have the same ring to it. Major League Baseball is thinking about playing games in empty stadiums. In response, Major League Soccer said, it's not so bad. You get used to it.
Hey!
And parents across the world have started drinking earlier in the day. I haven't seen any data to support that, but what do I know? I mean, I'm on my 4th beer. So there you go. Hey, we got a great show lined up today. Abby McEnany is here. Also, Chicago musician Bill Brickey. So stick around. Right back. Are we out? Jesus, that's so...
Are you wondering how to support unemployed service workers in these hard times? If you don't know how to give directly to your favorite servers from your regular spots, go to chicagoservicerelief.com for a list of fundraisers for local service workers and restaurant staff. If you're a service worker in need, the 50/50 Restaurant Group is providing 400 meals a day at Westtown Bakery and Diner. You can look that up online on their social at facebook.com/Westtown Bakery Diner. The 50/50 Sports Bar at 2047 West Division Street is serving meals to anyone in need from 4 p.m. to 6:30 every day except Mondays. No documentation or paperwork required. Just show up and take a free meal if you're in need. This initiative is funded by an anonymous Chicago tech CEO, and online donations to help go to givebutter.com/the word 50, the number 50, and food. That's givebutter.com/5050 food. And you can look them up on Facebook at the 50/50.
Are we back?
Speaking of restaurants,
We're
Justin,
back. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I love the 50/50. Great wings. Daisies as well. We'll get to that in just a second.
Daisy's is a fantastic place.
It's a fantastic restaurant. I thought I'd have more time to finish this puzzle, but Scott read it pretty fast. So thanks, Goldie, for that. All right. So before we get to Abby, who's coming up just in a second, I wanted to introduce, TJ Shanoff is not just a great, bathtub recording engineer.
Thank you.
He's also a great musician. He's been going to Instagram Live and Facebook Live and Friendster now, which is a whole new thing, which is really hot. And he's been doing what musicians do best. They're connecting us with song. And, I thought we'd take this opportunity for TJ to play something right now. If you need to get tissue, get it now. I've got some up here. But if you would like to just kind of brace yourself for TJ, who says that the whole world needs open arms. TJ?
Let's go on this journey together, Justin.
Golf clap. Golf clap for TJ Shanoff, a stirring rendition.
Taking lessons from my bathtub when this is all over.
I don't even know how you do it. You're just an amazing musician, and you continue to inspire all of us and keep us connected. Thank you, TJ Shanoff. Our first guest, I'm very excited to introduce our first guest, her show Showtime. Her show on Showtime is called Work in Progress, a tremendous first season. Season 2 is on the way. She's a long-time improviser in town. Give it up for Abby McEnany. Abby!
Hey! Hi, how are you?
You made it. It worked.
Wait, does it work? I can't see myself. So, wait, hold on.
Oh, no, where's Abby? I can't see anything. You're like me. You're disembodied.
It says I'm unable to start the video.
That's classic Abby.
But if you, wait, I don't. Oh, wait, hold on. Look, TJ.
Hi, Abby.
Classic. Hold on. Well, I just wanted to make sure because Mike, I'm trying to leave enough space. Whatever. We're going to move on. Hi.
Hey. Okay.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
Now Mike says, try it again. Try what again, Mike? Oh, no. You should be able to get the video. Oh, shit. Hi. You want to leave me in again?
Okay. Turn the video on. Let's see if it happens, if it works. Oh, hey! All right, I'll leave it in again. Who cares? That's great.
Who cares? You guys, we're working it out as we go along. Take that back.
Nice. All right, I have my first question for you, Abby, is
okay.
We just saw you on Stephen Colbert, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And he introduces you. He comes out and says, Abby McEnany.
Yeah.
And I've always called you Abby McEnany. Put an A, a higher A. Set the record straight. How do you pronounce your last name?
Well, I say McEnany. I really can't. I mean, honestly.
Ask. I've been saying your name wrong for 20 years, and you've never said.
There's so many other things you do wrong to me, so I just figured that's the lowest on the scale. I just want to save time. Justin, you got to choose your battles.
I know. I just feel like a dick. You know, but it's
Oh,
great.
now? You got to check in with me way sooner. I can help you out, my friend.
Abby, how are you dealing with this? How are you dealing with your shelter in place rule and order?
You know, I'm doing all right. You know, ups and downs like everybody else, but I'm fine. My family's fine, and I just am very grateful. So, yeah. So that I think, you know, compared to a lot of people, I'm in a good place, and I just am very grateful for that. So.
Do you get anxious like every time you get a sniffle, or every time something happens? Do you get anxious? Or you're like, oh, this is it?
No, you know, I think I kind of actually, since we stopped shooting, and we stopped shooting at the end of September, and I think I've just been feeling kind of crappy. So, I mean, this is just, I sniffle all the time. I'm like, yeah, this is no big deal. So actually, yeah.
Well, you were in the middle of you know, the writer's room here in Chicago, and Work in Progress season 2 was humming along. A lot of great people on that writing staff. And then because of this, you had to split it up and go fast and work from home. And what has been the impact of what is getting done for Work in Progress season 2?
Right. Well, a couple things. One is that we did have an amazing writer's room. Last year, you know, it was just Lily, Tim, and myself. We wrote it together. And then this year we were able, to hire a writing room, which was so fantastic. And we brought in 6 writers from the outside, 3 of my very best friends, and like Kate James, Brenda Dowling, and Amanda Blake Davis. We also had Tian Tran, who's a lovely friend, Samantha Irby, who, I mean, come on, Samantha Irby.
I can't believe it.
Holy smokes, I know, she's just a dream. And Jessica Estevez from LA, who's also fantastic. Anyways, just give them all a shout out. So that was amazing. They all had just a 6-week contract, actually. And so after the 5th week, we worked remotely. So that was our last week of the writer's room. We worked remotely. And then we were gonna be able to like hire some writers to like help us finish it out, and then we were unable to do that. So
what happens now is everything is in hiatus. Do you have an idea of when the shooting would happen for a season 2?
Absolutely not. I mean, like we we have no. I mean, so far they haven't, and I don't know who they is. You know, there's no way we're gonna hit these marks, right? Because like nobody knows anything, and so. As you and Goldie and TJ all know, I'm really good with like not having a plan. So I'm just like, you know, I'm feeling great about it. So right now, we're just finishing up the script. So we have 7 episodes that have like, we're probably on their 5th drafts, and now it's Lily and I are finishing those up. And then we have 3 more to write after that. We have 10 episodes this season. And I don't, you know, honestly, like we just check in, Lily and I, we're just like, yeah, you know, right. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And all of our plans can change. So
well,
was that a longer answer than you wanted?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's classic. I told everyone, I said, well, Abby, I'll ask one question. Abby will answer it for 8 minutes, and then we'll break.
Fuck it.
No. Abby, to everyone who's watching this, and if you haven't seen Work in Progress, it was a tremendous accomplishment for season 1. It was great television. I mean, I was just moved by everything that was in it. Do you feel, how have you dealt with the fact that you got great reviews, that people liked it, you got a season 2? I mean, is it going to your head? Are you a different Abby than you were maybe 2 years ago?
I'm still living in my same small 1-bedroom. So I think, yeah, you know, I have to say, I think the main thing is I still kind of don't believe it. And I wonder if that isn't like somewhat of a defense mechanism, you know, like my dream came true, which is such an amazing thing. Yeah, I mean, also I you know, I'm not on social media, which anybody who knows me knows. So I kind of don't really understand.
You're missing a ton right now. I'm just saying.
There's a lot of good news. And everything that people are reading on social media is making them feel so much better, and the world's a better place because of it.
Everyone is alive and healthy.
Yeah, because I just think it's a good place for you know, people to become better people. Anyways,
right.
So anyway, with this, yeah, I mean, it just seems a little, you know, it's a little strange. I've met some lovely folks just up in my neighborhood, which is very queer. So I have some, like, I've you know, talked to some lovely queer folks that feel like they feel that they've been seen, and that just is like the most moving thing. So no, I don't know. I mean, I know you'll be the first to know if it goes to my head.
Yeah. Well, when you are, I mean, obviously you're a very public person.
Oh my God, I was going to say.
No, but you're gonna walk around Andersonville. People gonna recognize you. Has that changed in the way that people think they're interacting with the character Abby as opposed to Abby?
I mean, honestly, because I've lived up here for like, over 20 years, right? So, I think, no. I mean, so far it hasn't been uncomfortable. How about that? It hasn't been bad. And right. I just, and also maybe that's the folks that are watching this show, like the people that would bother giving this a chance are probably people that I wouldn't mind talking to. You know what I mean? Right. You know what I'm saying? I just think that like a lot of the people that like, again, this is, making a broad statement, which definitely is not a good thing, especially in these times. But I think that people that don't have any empathy for the human condition, or are anybody who's bigoted against queer folks, aren't gonna like spend time watching the show. So anybody who's gonna recognize me from it, generally so far have been kind.
They're not.
I don't know.
So they're not booking you at like the pace car at NASCAR races and things like that.
I gotta say, my the bookings remain consistent. So I'm still doing 4 events this year. I thought I might get more, but I didn't. So
good.
I'm still stuck at 4. One
of the episodes that was a great episode in season 1. It had to do with your OCD and washing your hands. Uh-huh. And they just are constantly washing their hands. And I think about you all the time because I'm like, you should do PSAs or something right now for people how to wash their hands because you know how to do it.
I do. Well, our friend again, the 3 of you all know our dear friend Tim Sniffen texted me a few weeks ago. Do you feel the rest of the world finally caught up? That made me laugh so hard. Well, I
mean, it's a pleasure to have you as our first guest on this program. We hope to have you back. Obviously your schedule's going to get tighter because you got those 4 events that you got to do and all the hand washing. So I don't know where else we're going to be able to fit this in. Abby McEnany is the way you say her name, everybody.
Who knows? I don't know.
Like for the last 20 years. I'm not kidding you. Abby McEnany, Work in Progress. Great show on Showtime. Check it out. Abby, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it, Abby.
Thanks, friends. Bye.
Goodbye, Abby.
How about that? Abby McEnany. How about that? Steve Colbert was right. We were the wrong ones. And I'm not taking the blame either, TJ and Goldie, because you were saying McEnany as well. And we have been for the last 10, 15, 20 years.
I just say Abby. That's why I don't say anybody's last name. That's why I go by Goldie. Nobody can mispronounce it. It's just easier that way. But, things have changed, Justin. The world has changed. And now cannabis is considered an essential industry, not just by me and TJ, but by everybody. And in order to keep up with all of the latest information for this pandemic-proof industry, Grown In is the industry newsletter for cannabis professionals, investors, and enthusiasts. Learn more at that's important to say, www.grownin.com. That's www.grownin.com.
There you go. I'm hoping that our next guest can help me with my medical card. You can do that. A doctor going to join us in just a moment. We want to do this is something we want to do on the show. It's a pandemic talk show. And this is TJ Shanoff, it's Goldie, and I'm Justin Kaufman. And the whole goal of the show is, to reflect life that's happening right now as we all are sheltered in place. But there also are heroes that are on the front lines fighting this virus every single day. And we want to take our part to recognize that, as many different cities and whoever are, pots and pans and clapping every night. In our case, we want to be able to showcase the work that's being done. Today, Dr. Rahul Khare, who is a doctor. He is the owner of Innovative Express Care in Lakeview. And he also is a primary or an emergency room physician at Illinois Masonic. And he has been treating patients and fighting on the front lines the entire time during this pandemic. Dr. Khare, welcome to the Pandemic Talk Show. Woo! There he is. So how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let me just ask. I'm. Thank you for taking a little bit of your time out to talk. But we've seen all these stories on the news and everywhere in between. Do you feel like you're getting everything that you need to fight this virus from your vantage point on the front lines?
I think so. I mean, I want more tests out there. I want the serology testing, which is that IgG, IgM testing that tells you if you had it or not. I want those now. And we've been really late to get those. I want my emergency medicine colleagues to all have N95 masks, and all the nurses and even the receptionists who deal with these patients to be protected. So we need all those things. So
when I talked to you probably a couple weeks ago, and it was dire in the sense you were down to what 20, 25, 30 masks left, or gowns or whatever, PPEs. Has that been rectified? Has all the thing we hear about, like, so much has been shipped. We've shipped so many things. It's shipped. Is it getting to you?
Yes.
All right, good.
It's being rectified. Now, I mean, you go into the hospital system where there's a lot of red tape that has to go through a lot of stuff, committees and things like that. So they're a little bit slow, but they're getting them too. So it's getting rectified.
We saw in the last couple of days here the surge that Illinois is seeing more cases than it has ever before, record numbers. Do you see that as well? I mean, from your perch at urgent care and also the hospital systems, do you see that more cases are coming online or more tests are positive?
Yes, we're seeing a huge surge. We have been for the last 4 days. We're at 170 positives at Innovative Express Care. I think that's a large amount. We've tested a little over 1,000. About 15 to 20% of our tests are coming out to be positive. I am going to say this, though. We're very close to the peak. Remember, there's a 3 to 5 day delay when it comes to positives. So I'm saying in the next week or so, it's the 9th. I think they predicted 420, usually a fun day.
Goldie knows that well.
But
very important day.
Very, very important day. It's going to be a peak. I think we're going to see it a little before that. It doesn't matter, because I think everyone has to realize this is a bell-shaped curve. And yes, we see the peak, but then we have to do it all over again. So just remember, it's been a few weeks. It's like 4 weeks. It's going to be another 4 weeks. And they say April 30th, is the end of the shelter. But let's be honest, it's going to be extended to mid-May, and probably, as I told my kids who want to go back to school in a weird way, it's probably going to be more like the end of May, probably June 1st.
That's not a problem for me. I don't know if you've seen my puzzles. I've got a ton of puzzles, and I've got plenty of Pedialyte, so I'm good to go. Dr. Khare, when you have a chance to talk to people, what do you want to say to them? Because we get our news from so many different sources, and people are finding ways to politicize everything, and all that stuff doesn't seem to matter. From your vantage point as a medical professional, as a doctor, and you get a chance to talk to people who are watching this, what do you want to say about COVID-19?
Well, I think this is a natural disaster, and we just have to say that. It's easy to blame a lot of people politically, whatever, that's fine. But what's important is we do things that make sense to us, that make sense to the science, right? All we can do as a society is shelter in place, wear masks when we go out in public, and do our part. There are different theories on what we're going to do, because say on June 1st we're released. Maybe 50, 60% of us will have gotten the virus. What happens to those 40%? The virus will still be going around. There is things called herd immunity. We need about 70% of the society to have gotten the virus to do that. So let's just be calm and understand that this hasn't happened for over 100 years with the Spanish flu. We're still learning a lot from everything that has happened in Wuhan and Iran and Italy. We are the leaders as Americans. We have so many studies going on. There's the plasma that has antibodies in it. We're looking at vaccines. Like have hope. Let's do what we can today. Let's try not to politicize all of this. Let's be kind. People are short fused, man. You see on social media, like people who go off like ridiculous amounts. But let's just try to be calm and kind and survive this. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity or event, and we need to stay the course and every day listen to the scientists who are trying to lead us to better health.
That's great advice. You should see how my 12-year-old reacted when I said I needed to stay off YouTube while I do this. He lost his shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. So kind and calm and collected is good. Are you feeling the love? Are people bringing food to you and you guys getting flowers and you hearing the noise, all that kind of stuff?
I am feeling the love from my friends, family, just random people bringing us food, buying us lunch randomly. On the corner of Fullerton and Ashland where our place is, we've got kids making us signs to stay hopeful, be safe. So there's a lot of love out there. So it's nice to feel.
I live across the street from a park and they're constantly playing full court, full contact basketball. That's okay? Is that still okay? That's not okay? I told you guys it's not okay! I'm like the old grandma who we used to play in the backyard and the football would go into her yard and she would yell at us. I'm doing that to everybody in the park right now. I'm not courageous enough to show my face, but it's a yell and it's a duck. Hey, get out of there! That kind of thing. So.
Right.
Dr. Khare, I know you got plenty to do and plenty of patients to see, and I can't thank you enough for being our guest on the Pandemic Talk Show. Dr. Khare from the front lines, give it up. Thank you. Look at that, huh? I appreciate it, man. He's a great doctor. He's been doing a ton to do so much for Chicago and for Lakeview and for all the people who are obviously scared, but he seems to tell us that we're getting close to the peak and we just got to be kind, calm, and collected. Right, TJ?
The light is at the end of the tunnel.
There you go. That's it. That should be the name of the show, right?
It's a hoax, you guys. Get over it.
TJ, you know, it's this before we get to our musician, Bill Brickey, who's great. We could talk about John Prine as well, who passed away this week, and Bill Withers as well. There's been a lot of great songwriter who have passed this week. You've got the COVID-19 business report, and this is important, you know, because we all know everybody has to tell us what they're doing about COVID-19, and TJ's got the update from his email list. TJ.
We've been getting emails from all of our favorite stores in Chicagoland, and I'm going to do my best to read one every episode, Justin. Today's comes from this great store. It's a message. I printed out the email. My printer still works, even in a pandemic. It's a message from Electronic Superstore Silo, located in the Northbrook Court Marshall Fields. In an effort to ensure our customers are protected during the COVID-19 crisis, Electronic Superstore Silo, located in the Northbrook Court Marshall Fields, will be closed until further notice. Please note, Silo will still be offering curbside VCR and tube TV repairs, but at this time we will not be repairing the following: ColecoVision, Atari 2600, 8-track and reel-to-reel players, and broken VHS copies of the recent John Candy hit Uncle Buck. Silo continues to offer curbside Betamax player delivery and is featuring the new Sony Betamax for only $7,999. Please call to reserve one. Personal checks and Diners Club only. Thank you for supporting Silo during these tough times. Silo, your electronic superstore located in the Northbrook Court Marshall Fields, promises we'll get through this together, because at Silo, we'll always be in business.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good. Thank you. I needed to know. I was wondering what Silo was up to. Yeah. So I'm really glad that they sent that. I don't even think it was an email. I think it was actually a mailer. They sent it through email.
Nice.
Something like that.
I don't get my electronics there. I get them at Zare.
Yeah, that's right. Silo. This is a Zare show. All right. Our final guest tonight is a great Chicago musician. He has been teaching at the Old Town School of Folk Music for over 30 years, and he is tremendous. He's played in so many different bands and continues to teach at the school and perform everywhere. Bill Brickey, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Brickey!
There's that. There's that. Okay. How's that? Better? Whoops. Nope.
Well, I see a name.
Says unable to start video. Why is that? Hold on a
I
second.
blame this on our producers, Mike and Brad. We don't really know how to. Hey, there he
There
is.
we go.
Bill
All
Brickey!
right. Yeah. It's about touching that button.
There you go. How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Bill, you got a lot of stuff going on. Before we get to all the different ways that you're changing the way you work at Old Town, let's talk about John Prine and Bill Withers. But first, John Prine. This week, a huge loss, died of complications from COVID-19. But Prine spent a lot of time in Nashville, but his start was here in Chicago, and he's got ties to the Old Town School of Folk Music.
Yeah, he took his first lessons at the Old Town School of Folk Music. Some of his first concerts were at the Old Town School of Folk Music. He is one with the community. He was known for walking the halls and being extremely funny, eloquent, and genuine. And, you know, that's really how he connected to people around the world, was with his, you know, sense of integrity about what he was talking about. Everything was a little dark and it had a sense of humor, the kind of thing that we really could have used right now, you know, with songs like, please don't bury me down in the cold, cold ground. I'd rather have them cut me up, pass me on around. Throw my brain in a hurricane, and the blind can have my eyes, and the deaf can have both of my ears if they don't mind size. You know,
How about that, right?
that lyric, you know, so memorable, and it stays with you. So, you know, it's interesting that both of the people that we've lost this week, that the music world has lost, are known for their integrity. You know, Bill Withers' frankness in writing songs and his initial refusal to, you know, accept being overproduced. He really just wanted to be heard with his guitar. So yeah, at the Old Town School last night, we had over 1,000 people show up to the John Prine song bag online. Wow. So 1,000 people inside the little box.
I was going to ask you, because the Old Town School of Folk Music, of course, is all about community and all the lessons and the teachings, but then all the community members coming together for jam sessions, whatever you might want to call it. How have you guys adapted and adjusted to this shelter at home, this new self-isolation world?
Well, it was a little rocky at first. We weren't sure what we were going to do. You know, management was really aggressive about helping us find out how we were going to make money in an era when we weren't going to be able to make money, clearly, because we're all about being in a space with people, which is exactly what we can't do right now. It was at that time that people like Steve Dawson and Jacob Sweet and Shelley Miller started talking about the work that they had been doing online, and the rest of us caught on to it. And management picked up the ball from there, ran with it, and we are now teaching our classes online. We've had to adapt. And whereas we initially thought that, you know, it might not be successful because, you know, people really want that one-on-one, face-to-face tactile experience. What we found out is that when faced with complete isolation and really just interacting with other human beings, people prefer interacting with other human beings. So we are one of those businesses like Zoom, who has actually seen a steady flow and a slight increase in our business as we take on students, not just here in Chicago that are used to taking classes with us, but students from across the nation. I had a student last night from Maine. One of my other buddies had a student from North Carolina the other night, and some further distances. So we've really been blessed, and we're passing that blessing on.
I was going to say, it must be a lot harder to find out who's out of tune when you got a bunch of boxes up and you're looking around like, is that you? Is that?
Well, full disclosure, it doesn't actually work for all of us to play at the same time. You know, I don't want to give any shots to the IT community, but come on, AT&T and, you know, Comcast, give us some bandwidth for
Get it together, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's finish with let's Bill Brickey, and you got a couple of things coming up, which is great. Open mics and shows. You got something this weekend, which is awesome because I just think that we need that more than ever. But what are you going to play for us? Tell us what you're doing, and then tell us what you're going to play for us. We'd like to
yeah. So what I'm doing in honor of, we just had this huge celebration for John Prine. And my buddy Alton Smith and I are going to be teaching Bill Withers' class, Song Bag, so people can sign on and sing along. We're going to be doing that on Saturday, April 18th at 6 p.m. And we would really love to see people there. I think it's a really good way for us to bond, to get together and sing some of the songs of Bill Withers, who has warmed so many of our hearts. I'm going to do a Bill Withers song for you right now.
There's Bill Bricky, ladies.
Okay. When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hits my eyes, and something without warning, love, weighs so heavy on my mind, then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. A lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, and someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, come on now people, sing it with me, a lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day.
A lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? And there is no one better than Bill Bricky in Chicago. I've been saying that for years. Bill, wonderful performance of Bill Withers, Lovely Day.
Oh, thank you.
All of the things you got coming up, we'll put in the links in the comments on this broadcast. Bill, can't thank you enough for coming on, playing, and good luck with all your ventures. And we got to have you back. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Justin. You take care.
All right. Bill Bricky. So that's it. That's the Pandemic Talk Show daily. We're going to bring it to you every day and do our best to come up with new bits, because I feel like Goldie spent all of his bits in one show, and TJ, I don't know what else you can offer. So we're kind of spent.
You want to watch me shower? I asked that question a lot. That's not a new thing.
That's not a new. That's such an old bit. That's such an old bit. Watch TJ shower, right?
Been doing it for years.
Exactly. That's Goldie. It's TJ Shanoff. I'm Justin Kaufman. Up next is that Pokemon video that your kid was watching. So enjoy, like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff right here. Here we go. Here we go. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Remember, there is light at the end of the tunnel.